So, to work at a great organization is a privilege, meaning that if you're not constantly looking at this stuff. So the people that I ask to come work with me, I say to them, are you doing your shield every day? Are you sitting down and going, okay, as you brush your teeth, how am I doing attracting a talent into my life? How am I doing about onboarding those people? How am I doing about retaining those people? You know, am I taking universal pride and care in what they want, or am I just taking universal pride and care in what I want? Am I being a good life agent? Am I looking around in areas where I can help and impact, throw the rope back over? How's my communication? How's my organization? How's my discipline, right? You know, a lot of people, you can do a couple of these things, but if you can't do them all, you have a broken shield. Your perimeter is wide open, right? It only takes the weakest link. So that's the shield in a nutshell. You know, there's obviously a lot more to it. Most people need to work on their shield. Most companies that I work with are just in the shield stage for a long time. But once your shield is up and running, you can start dancing in the diamond, right? Which has a roundabout that you go through. And when that happens, the cool thing is you can get into, because this is the diamond is the rules, okay? And the last piece is obviously the norms, which is the love. So when that happens, oops, I was painting with that one the other day. When that happens, you're getting into this, okay? And you know, when you have a society that really cares about norms, but it's based on rules and laws, you don't need a cop on every corner, because the society can govern itself. The society can police itself versus, you know, what we've seen happen in America as of late or around the world. Right? So that's it for now, right? So that's the shield. You know, when it's gone into companies or people have been using this, we've seen epiphanies after epiphanies. If you think about it all the time, all this stuff in a weird way is kind of basic, but if you think about the order of it, it starts to build momentum. It's also very good for allowing introverts and extroverts to speak to each other. It's also very good to use when you might have a tough conversation, because you could say to someone, hey, listen, you know, your life agency's off. You know, you should have been helping Ted yesterday. Versus being like, God, Joe's so selfish, doesn't help Ted, and you end up with that water cooler culture stuff. Or if you're in an area where, you know, someone's, you know, letting the team down because their discipline's not there. It's like, oh, I got to go call out so-and-so. You don't need to call them out. The shield will call them out. You have to sit there and say, hey, man, I need you to do your shield tonight and actually really think about how you're doing in your shield. Because I can think of 3 areas that you're not doing so hot in. You know, and why don't you come back and talk to me about that tomorrow? Right? So, what is MXB University? Inside of each of these components, I have thousands of meetings on how do you actually hire and fire people, right? Like I'm going to do a meeting tomorrow. Like, how do you actually hire someone? Like, how do you actually extend an offer letter, right? How do you take someone to lunch? How do you fire somebody and not have them sue the organization? And nobody's fired more people than this guy, or hired him. You know, how do you really make a cold call? You know, how do you really have a relationship with marketing? What is the product manager's responsibility in a company? You know, what does it mean to really sell, right? So when I see a lot of the coaching stuff that's out there, I really do like a lot of it. I don't have any problems with drive or ambition. So I don't need any of that, like, let's go, right? MXB University is about technique. Okay, so inside all of this are techniques. That's what's going on. Right? And, you know, as my father, you know, went to Amherst, he said to me one time, you know, when I got there, they said, we're going to teach you how to think. He's like, I don't need to know how to think. I already know how to think. I want to learn stuff. Teach me stuff to learn. So what I'm going on the premises that I'm seeing minimally with this younger generation and minimally with the people who want to reboot their careers, which is really what MXB University is for, You know, if you're not a naturally driven person, do not sign up for MXP University. If you don't like working and like actually like interacting, engaging and building things and, you know, pushing your life forward, do not sign up for MXP University, right? There's going to be no motivational speaking in this thing, right? There's going to be no like, this is why you can do it and here's the power about, like, no, man. This is like, how do you actually drive stick, right? And to everything, there is an art and there is a science, right? And over the last 20, 30 years, I have been making sure that that science is there, but lathering it in the art, right? Because at the end of the day, the art is more important than the science. But the art without the science is not scalable. So it has to be a combination of it all. So this is the shield. This is what everyone's been talking about, right? I've tried to break it numerous times. I always try and dev up my own stuff. This thing has been holding up, and the diamond shores it up even more, and then the love like solidifies it, right? As you know, in Grateful Dead world, what we say, without love in a dream, it'll never come true. So that's it for now. MXP University. I'll put this in a couple videos, and you guys can go through them. And I'm playing everything live right now. There was one little blip in here because somebody made some noise in the back, so I had to stop it real for a second. But other than that, I'm playing everything live. Nothing scripted. There's not reading off any cue cards. I don't care about the lighting. I don't care about whatever. You know, the only thing I care about is getting the downloads out. And, you know, as a deadhead, sometimes you get a really good tape, sometimes you get a shitty tape. But, you know, back in the day, you know, a 77 tape that was like a 4th gen tape was still better than no tape at all. So that's it for now. MXP University, MXP, boom. Practice safe, boom, Mike, boom. You go, we go.